Some of the most biologically diverse natural places in the world can be found in the greater Mekong Basin, home to thousands of animal and plant species. Cambodia is one of the countries in the Mekong region thought to have the healthiest populations of wildlife. However, the region's rich biological treasures are currently facing a great danger: illegal wildlife trafficking.
Wildlife trafficking across the Mekong sub-region is really quite serious at the moment, from source countries through to consumer countries. Along the Mekong, a lot of it's transported on riverboats like we see behind us, and this is quite really a problem for officials to investigate and to interdict these types of crimes.
Illegal wildlife trafficking is one of the largest threats to wildlife and a crime that has decimated large populations of animals around the world.
For example, the tiger, the coupre, a kind of forest cow, wild cow, and the rhinoceros are now extinct from Cambodia, from the forests of Cambodia.
Almost every kind of wildlife in Cambodia is trafficked, from turtles and elephants to birds and fish. The illegal wildlife trade in Cambodia and throughout Southeast Asia is largely fueled by a high demand for uses in traditional medicine, as bushmeat, and as a status symbol of wealth.
Trade is not subsistence for poor people. Trade is large amounts of wildlife leaving the country to make perhaps people that are already quite well off richer. It's removing biodiversity and the natural heritage from Cambodia.
The main driver of wildlife trade are the emerging middle classes of Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, all of the countries of this region. For example, here in Cambodia, one of the main things Cambodian tourists do when they go to Mondulkiri is eat wild meat. People who are eating wild meat don't understand how it is caught. For every wild pig they eat, maybe 500 died in the forest from the snare injuries before they could be taken out.
It is this indiscriminate killing of wildlife for medicine, bushmeat, and other products that has caused wildlife populations, such as the endangered Saurus crane, to decline to less than 1,000 birds, and the endangered Mekong giant catfish, one of the world's largest freshwater fish, to be illegally harvested and traded to restaurants as a rare and exotic food.
Illegal wildlife trade is a problem for everybody because everything we use in life comes from nature, from somewhere or another. So although this is not affecting us right now, we might find in the future when there's something we need, it's no longer there.
People talk too much about the solution, but the simple, the only way, but a simple but very important way that people don't consume the wildlife product, the pangolin meat or the pangolin scale or any kind of products from the wildlife. When the people not consume and the demand decrease, so the provider like the hunter and the trader will be decreased and let more chance to survive for the pangolin and all the animals.
ជាពិសេសដែលសត្វដែលទើបរងគ្រោះពីការជួញដូរហើយយើងចាប់យកមកដល់ខ្ញុំឃើញទៅសត្វប្រភេទសត្វនឹងដូចថាមានទឹកភ្នែកមានអីអញ្ចឹងទៅខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍មួយថាអាណិតសត្វនឹងជាខ្លាំងមិនថាមនុស្សយើងឬក៏សត្វទេតែងតែចង់រស់ដល់ពេលធម្មតាយកមកដល់គ្នាធ្លាប់តែរស់ដោយសេរីភាពរបស់វាយើងយកមកដាក់ទ្រង់តូចយកមកវាអារម្មណ៍មួយមិនសូវជាសប្បាយចិត្ត
Many people think that nature is just here for us to totally exploit, for us to cut down a tree to sell the wildlife. But actually the long-term value of all of these products is far more than the market value of selling it today, because the value is only going to increase into the future. As the trees get bigger, as the wildlife gets more abundant, we're going to find people want to come back to nature, and this resource is going to be there for ecotourism, for bringing tourists from all over the world. And there's already many instances of people traveling throughout the world to go and see wildlife. We've seen it in East Africa, where people pay a lot of money to go on safari to see rhinos and lions. Why? in years to come? Can they not be paying that same amount of money to come and see elephants and gibbons and tigers in Southeast Asia?
A number of studies recently in both Cambodia and South Asia have suggested about $2,000 per hectare per year, which when you add up across the vast amounts of this country's forest, it's a phenomenal amount. But if this is lost, the country will be immeasurably poorer. You just have to see the natural disasters that befall other countries in this region that are often directly linked to deforestation. Droughts and landslides and floods. And therefore, sustainable long-term economic development of this country cannot occur unless the natural resources are properly valued.
So I believe that we can change the behavior of people. Every people have compassion to animal and emotion to animal. So our work is how to awake their compassion and evoke their emotion. And some local community and parents and teachers come to talk to us that sorry that now it's too late to know about this special animal, but it's better than never.
It's obvious, the impact that man has had on wildlife throughout the world. And it'd be really nice if Cambodia could be an example of conservation and turn the trend around. There's still time.
បើសិនជាយើងមិនខ្វល់អំពីរឿងសត្វព្រៃខ្ញុំទាំងគេទាំងប្រជាពលរដ្ឋដែលនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទាំងមូលនឹងបាត់ប្រភេទសត្វទាំងនោះហើយយើងនឹងអាចមិនឃើញដូចប្រភេទសត្វផ្សេងៗដែលបាត់ឈ្មោះហើយឃើញតែរូបថ្ម
It is clear that in order to conserve imperiled wildlife and to allow future generations to come face to face with a real-life pangolin or Mekong giant catfish, we need to protect the special animals that exist in the Mekong region.
There's so many species here that you just can't find anywhere else in the world. We can sail down the river here, we can see bird roostings with millions of birds, we can see the fishermen with these immense amounts of fish. It's one of the largest fisheries in the world. This is something that we really have to preserve. This is something that's to be celebrated and maintained for our children and our children's children.